Welcome back to page 121. So you've worked that fighter up all the way to 9th level, that coveted level where you can actually become a lord and establish your own stronghold. But how do you do that? You look in the Dungeon Master's Guide and you get some information, but not a ton. You go to some great articles in the Dragon Magazine and you get a lot more information. So today, for the heck of it, I thought I'd take a look at, from the Dungeon Master's Guide primarily, how you establish a keep as a 9th level fighter. It's an interesting topic, and it's one that gave us a lot of challenges back in the day. Also, just a quick note, please subscribe to the channel, trying to keep it growing. And please take a look at Patreon. If you can help out there, that'd be great. But back to the important thing at hand. You're 9th level, and you're looking for a place to call your own. Today on page 121. So you've made 9th level as a fighter, and you're going to establish yourself as a lord. Your title is Lord right now, according to the title table of the level titles on the progression table for fighters. So why not? Okay, that's great. Now your DM says, okay, I've got all the information. And then your DM goes, wow, there is no information. This was a big problem for us in the early 80s because, of course, everybody wanted to establish a keep or whatever as soon as they could. And there's just not any real information in the books for it. So here we have, when the fighter attains 9th level Lord, he may opt to establish a freehold. This is done by building some type of castle and clearing the area in a radius of 20 to 50 miles around the stronghold. That's massive. Now, that's 40 to 100 miles across. It makes it free of all, and then you make it free of all sorts of hostile creatures. Whenever such a freehold is established and cleared, the fighter will automatically attract a body of men-at-arms led by an above-average fighter. These men will serve as mercenaries as long as the fighter maintains his freehold and pays the men-at-arms. And then you can collect a monthly revenue of 7 silver pieces for each and every inhabitant of the freehold due to trade, tariffs, and taxes. Okay, that's it. That's what we get. So now, along comes the Dungeon Master's Guide. Yay, this'll save me. This is the book that's written for DMs. This has all the information I'm going to need on establishing my keep. Nope. Here it is. Here's the area for fighters. Once you've established your keep, or stronghold, or whatever it's going to be, you now roll on the fighter table, and you roll once for each leader type, once for the troops, and all our 0-level men-at-arms, which I actually have changed. I made them 1st level men-at-arms. That made no sense to me. They're professional fighters. They, in my opinion, should be at least 1st level. So we have on percentage dice, a 1 through a 40 gets you a 5th level fighter, plate mail and shield, and a +2 magic axe. 41 through 75, 6th level fighter, plate mail and a +1 shield, +1 spear, and +1 dagger. At 76 through 95, a 6th level fighter with +1 plate and shield, and it comes with a lieutenant, 3rd level, who has splint mail and shield and a crossbow of distance. And 96 through 100, a 7th level fighter wearing +1 plate mail with +1 shield and a +2 sword with no special abilities, and he rides a heavy warhorse with horseshoes of speed. One of my fighters who established his keep was evil, and he thought, well, heck, I'm going to track these guys, kill them, and take their gear. That was an amusing kind of moment. I didn't allow it simply because I let the NPCs be wary enough. And I had a talk with the player, and I said, really, this kind of isn't what it's supposed to be about. And he said, all right, I'll be good. It's probably something I should have allowed, but at the time we were struggling with alignments and player behaviors. This is back in the very early 80s when alignment was still a new concept. And he had, I think he was a neutral. I don't remember if he was evil or not, but I still really didn't want it in the campaign. So I just asked the player if he wouldn't do it. He said, okay. So now for your troops and followers, on a percentage roll of 1 through 50, you get a company of 20 light cavalry, ring mail and shield, 3 javelins each, a longsword, hand axe, and a company of 100 heavy infantry with scale mail, polearm, and club. That's pretty good. 51 through 75, a company of 80 heavy infantry, 20 with splint mail, 60 with leather armor, 20 with morning star and hand axe, 60 with pike and short sword. I'd rather have the cavalry personally. 76 through 90, company of 60 crossbowmen in chainmail, 40 with heavy crossbow and short sword, 20 with light crossbow and military fork, and 91 through 100, a company of 60 cavalry, 10 with banded mail and shield, 20 with scale mail and shield, 30 with studded leather and shield, 10 with lance, bastard sword, and mace, 20 with lance, longsword, and mace, 30 with lance and flail. And that's kind of interesting. You can select the type randomly or assign whichever you want throughout here. I always found these tables kind of good. I actually had a fighter who had been, I think he was chaotic good, but who had been especially charismatic and really worked to make a name for himself in the area where he was going to establish his keep, which is going to be in southern Furiandi. So I actually gave him, as a reward for really good role playing for 9 levels, I gave him a reward and I let him roll twice on each of these tables. And if he duplicated, he duplicated. But he got 2 different lieutenants and 2 different sets of company. So he ended up rolling for the 60 cavalry, and I think he got the 80 heavy footmen, heavy infantry, and then he rolled the 5th level in plate and shield, and then he rolled the 6th level in plate and shield plus 1 shield. So he did pretty well out of that, and actually was pretty diligent about maintaining his numbers on his keep, his 7 gold pieces per person, working to attract people to work the land and to grow the established keep. And it was a lot of fun. He and I would get together between games and we would work on his keep. That can be a little mini game for you if you have a player who's dedicated to it. And I did have a player. This is back in the early 80s. Unfortunately, as so much of life, that player ended up getting married, moving away. And he changed jobs first, then got married and moved away. So he moved out of my campaign. And it was a shame because he was one of my favorite guys to just sit with and go over this. And he kept really good records, and he wanted to keep his keep straight and keep all his taxation records. He had a little tax sheet that he wrote up, and his expenditures, so he knew how much he was making each month on his keep. That was a lot of fun for me as a DM to work with. So then we have several dragon articles that came out on how to establish your keep, and if there should be magic involved in the keep, or one of the things that I had done is I let players take over a ruined castle, and as the players took it over, the fighter who had made 9th level said, "Yeah, the heck with it. I'm going to use this as my keep. I'll repair the castle, and we can all reside here. But this will be my, I'll be the lord of the place, and this will be where I'll set up my keep." And the players were all on board with that. They thought that was a fine idea. So we did it that way too. So it's not just building a new keep. You can build on the ruins of an old keep. In one of my current campaigns, it's just a campaign that we drop in now and again. I have a fighter who's made 12th level, and he has decided he wants to establish a keep. So he's established it on the northern shores of the near Div in the Shieldlands. And I'll zoom into where he is, where his keep is. It is right up here. It is right up there, just right under the 2 L's in crit wall. He's in that hex. And the way I've changed it is I only make them clear out the hex that the keep is in. So he has to keep the shores of the near div kind of clean and the hex itself. And then he can establish his keep. And it's been pretty fun. I've had a lot of fun with this. They had some dwarves who lived in the area come to them and plead for some help with a dragon that, of course, had taken over their lair. That's an old trope in D&D type games, and I've always liked using it. So the dragon had gone in and taken over their mine, and if he would help them free the mine, some of the dwarven clan would come live with, or not come work for him for 1 year to help him establish his keep as payment. Because the player was a little short on cash, so I wanted to figure out a way that he could actually build this. That ended up being a lot of fun. That was a multi-part game where they were getting rid of the dragon and its minions. And once they cleared the dragon out, the dwarves lived up to their end of it and sent about half the clan, which numbered about 25 workers, to help build the keep, which to that point had literally been built to a laughable level, at least laughable by dwarvish standards. So that's still ongoing. He's still establishing, cleaning out the area, and the dwarves are still building the keep, but it's been a lot of fun. And it's neat that I'm actually doing an active campaign where one of my players wanted to bother establishing a stronghold. So in future videos, as that goes along, I'll let you know how that's going. But that's really all I've got to say on building up strongholds for a 9th level fighter. The work's on you as the DM. You're going to have a lot of research to do and a lot of work to do to just establish the area. And then hopefully you'll have a player that's interested in putting in the work, and they'll work with you to make the area kind of come to life. But that's all I've got to say today on page 121. Just a quick look at how to establish a keep for a 9th level fighter. Let me know what you think of the video. If there's anything I should do to expand on the video, please leave a comment below. Please like and subscribe to the channel. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time on page 121.